Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Inside Out with Gia Boya, a podcast that is dedicated to exploring holistic self care and personal development from the inside out. I am your host, Gia Boya. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you do like it, please do not forget to subscribe on the subscribe button. And if you're listening to it on Spotify, please also do not forget to subscribe. So for the past few months, I've been exploring the conversation on the importance of building community and how it is so important to build a life for yourself outside of your partner or outside of your work, which has been a big lesson that I'm learning. And I think I'm doing pretty well, I mean, not that it is something that I'm like, okay, it's a goal I've achieved for myself and that's it, but I think that as something that is ongoing and as something that is one thing that I'm intentional about, I think I'm doing pretty well in terms of building a life for myself and building relationships that are based on intention and also showing up for the people in my life. And I love it. I'm happy with it. I think that there is nothing as important as being intentional about the community that you build. I mean, I did share in my previous podcast episode that there is a study that has been done that the diet that you eat, the number of times that you recite your affirmations in the morning does not compare in terms of the people that you have around you, and that is how much impact they have on your well-being. So I really hope that going forward you will be choosing the right kind of friends, the right kind of family members even. I wanted to explore something on conflict resolution, but we'll get into that some other day. Right now I want to chat a bit about one of the things that I'm learning, which has to do with purpose. For a very long time, I had believed that what I am doing and my purpose are interlinked, right? Like what I am doing is what is my purpose. And that could be true for some people. I know that for a lot of people, that is still the perspective that we hold in terms of limiting ourselves, I believe, in terms of what you do being the only thing that consists of your purpose. And I have experienced so much this year. I had been doing radio for 7 years, and obviously, I am not currently doing radio, but I'm coming back by the grace of God. And that kind of shifted things for me. It really did shift things for me where I was like, oh my God, does that mean that my life does not have purpose? And I remember I went through a period and a season where I felt like my life does not have purpose because I had solely based my understanding of my purpose on what it is that I'm doing. And I went through an identity crisis. I went through a season where my confidence took a knock because I was like, oh my God, who am I? Like, does this mean that my role in this world has ended? And that was the beginning of a shift for me in terms of understanding what our purpose is and shifting the definition of purpose for myself. And I remember I was watching a sermon earlier on the by Pastor Mike Todd, and he was talking about the initial idea that God had when he created us. So the initial idea that God had when he created us was for us to rule and subdue. And I think it's found in Genesis. And he said, let us make man in our own image and let them rule and subdue the earth, right? And he's like, that was our initial intent. That was God's initial intention when he created people. And I don't know, from that, it really shifted my perspective in terms of what purpose is. I've had to kind of also not only focus on what I do as my purpose, but as part of it. And I've also gotten to a point where I genuinely believe that who you are and who you choose to become in this world is a big part of our purpose. And there is a quote that says, envision your highest self and show up as her or him if you're a male. And I think really that is what it comes down to, that your purpose is entangled or has to do with the person that you choose to be every single day when you wake up. It has to do with the way that you move in this world. It has to do with the person that you envision yourself to be and showing up as that version of yourself in every aspect of your life. And that has really shifted things for me, because it has made me focus a lot more on being a better version of myself than being good at what I do, because ultimately when you focus on who you are and on self-improvement, it is bound to impact the way you show up at your work. And I love that. I just love the idea of being more than what I do. And for somebody like me, listen, I had solely tied my identity to what I do. And it's almost as if outside of that, I had no sense of identity. And I also realized the danger of defining yourself based on the kind of work that you do. And I think that also just causes people to really get into a space where they feel worthless when they don't have jobs, where they feel worthless when they're not in their dream career. And I don't know, I think for me, I've grown so much in terms of really understanding that my purpose is about who I choose to show up as in my life. So whether it be at work, whether it be in my relationships, whether it be in my family, whether it be in any relation that I have with any person, how I choose to show up in my life consists of a big part of my purpose. And really, I love being in a space where I am intentional about the person that I choose to be, because that really gives me perspective. It helps me to really focus on being a better version of myself. And I just want to challenge you to get to a point where you stop limiting yourself in terms of your purpose being just about what you do. It also has to do with the kind of person that you choose to show up in the world as. And at the end of the day, if you think about it, when you die one day, that's the one thing that people will remember about you, the person that you are, the way you touch their lives, the knowledge and the wisdom that you have imparted into their lives. And that gives you a very different position to move through life with, where you understand that everything that you do is done with intention. Everything that you do is done with purpose. At some point in my attempt to figure out my life's purpose, I obviously did questionnaires and Googled questions on how to determine my purpose. And honestly, I have seen questions that ask you, who am I? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? If I knew that I couldn't fail, what it is that I would do. If I knew that money wasn't an obstacle, would I still be able to pursue this thing that I'm pursuing? And a lot of the questions also just made me realize that honestly, your purpose really has to do with the person that you are. I really encourage you to take time to focus more on who it is that you want to show up as in the world, as opposed to what it is that you just want to achieve. Yes, the things that we want to achieve are a big part of where we want to go in life. But honestly, I really think that we would be a lot happier if we were intentional about the people that we are on a daily basis. And another thing that I've learned about purpose is mindfulness. I think that sometimes we just get into the habit of just doing things because it is habits. You wake up, you brush your teeth, and that's it. And then you go to work, and then you come back, and then you see your friends, and then you see your family. And it just feels like, oh my gosh, my life is redundant. It is just a routine that has no excitement, that does not make me feel fulfilled. And honestly, I think one of the things that could really help is bringing mindfulness into the activities that we engage in. So really being in the moment of what you are doing. If you are with your friends, really being in that moment, and it might make you feel fulfilled. If you are working, really be in that moment, and you might be like, you know what? Maybe even then you might be like, I don't even want to do this. I don't feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And then you can start making strides into where you want to go. I honestly believe that our emotions are indicators as to where we're supposed to go in life. If something does not make you feel good, then maybe that's not where you need to be. But if something makes you feel good, then that is maybe where you are supposed to be. And I challenge you again to go through life kind of having your emotions be an indicator of things in your life. I think that is a big part of being mindful. I think that is a big part of you being in touch with yourself, in touch with your emotions, in touch with your spirit. Sometimes that's where guidance comes from. And I really believe that if we bring mindfulness into the stuff that we do regularly, it will serve us so much. And it might even change so many things in our lives, where we don't just look at our lives, especially in this day and age where there's so much influence in terms of social media and where we think we need to be and where we think our lives should be going. I really think that intentionality with mindfulness and appreciation for your life will really make a world of a difference and give you more of a sense of fulfillment and purpose as you lead yourself in the direction of where you think you're supposed to go. And that's just one of the things that I'm learning, or a couple of things that I've been learning this year when it comes to purpose, that it doesn't have to be defined as one thing that you do, but your whole life can be your purpose. The way you show up in your friendships, the way you show up at work, the way you show up in your life can be the purpose that you have intended to pursue on a daily basis. And I think that has personally for me given a shift in terms of looking at my life and being like, you know what, I know that I have a sense of direction, I know where I'm going, and things might not be looking up right now, but I know that my life still has purpose. I still have purpose. I'm still able to get through my days and still find things to be grateful for and still find things to enjoy. So that is so important. And I really hope that after listening to this podcast, not only will you consider purpose to be a thing that is outside of you or just your job, but really each and every day of your life being your purpose. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like it, please don't forget to click on the like button so that I know I should produce more content of this nature. And of course, until we meet again, have a beautiful week.